So the question is how to set up dummy variables, right? Now, if a column has only two possible values, and if that column is already coded as 0 or 1, then there is no problem. It's already a dummy variable, no problem, right? But if it has only two possible values, but the values are not numeric, okay, some character, like for example, yes or no. So here you have international plan, two possible values, yes or no, but it is not numeric, because 0 or 1 is what we need for a dummy variable. So we have to recode that into a dummy variable. And the third possibility is you do have a numerical variable and there are only two possible values, but the values are coded as 1 and 2. Okay. So in that case, you have to convert that into 0, 1. Dummy variables are 0, 1 variables. You can't have any other value, 0 or 1, that's it. So if it is coded as yes or no, or true or false, okay, or if it is coded as two numerical values that's other than 0 or 1, then in those two cases, then you can recode in this fashion. Okay, so you select the variable and then you say, all right, if it is replace the value, like if it is yes, you code it as 1, okay, click OK, and that will insert this line for you, and then if it is no, then make it into 0, right? Now that will insert that row for you, and then anything else, okay, if it is a missing value, any other number, okay, you code it as missing value. In case there is yes and no, but in some rows you have a blank or something, so then that would be coded as missing value. And you do the same thing if it was not yes and no, but 1 and 2. You want to keep 1 as 1 and 2 as 0, then you will recode 1, you replace that as 1, and then 2 you replace that with 0, and everything else will be missing. Okay, and of course make sure that here in the format area you have nothing. If you have CHAR $, then you're going to give you an error, because your recoded column must be a numeric column and not character column. Okay, so any questions up to this point? Okay, if you have only two possible values, this is what you would do. Okay, if it is yes or no or true or false, you recode those to 0 or 1, and all the other values as missing. If it is numeric, you do the same thing. Instead of yes or no, you will have some numbers there, and you convert that to 0, 1. Dummy variables must always be 0 or 1. But what if you have a variable that has more than two possible values? So for example, marital status here, okay, that has three possible values: married, single, and other. Okay, so when you have more than two possible values, then you have to define multiple dummy variables, multiple columns, because each column can be only 0 or 1. So the number of dummy variables you need is the number of unique values in the column minus 1. So if you have only two possible values, you need only one dummy variable. 1 would indicate yes, 0 would indicate no. But if you have two possible values, you need one dummy variable. If you have three possible values, you need two dummy variables. Okay, with one for one possible value for the first column, one for the second possible value in the second column. Then if both are 0, that would represent the third possible value. And the third possible value is then, we'll call that the base. The base value does not get a dummy variable. The others will get. Similarly, if you have 4 possible values, then you will need 3 dummy variables, k minus 1. K being the number of possibilities, k minus 1 is the number of dummy variables you need. So let me show you how to do that. So again, we can use recode. Okay, let's select marital status. Okay, add. Okay, so now you say married is 1.
So married is our base.
No. The one that we leave out would be the base.
So the one that's the base.
So we haven't, suppose if you want to leave out the other, okay, not define a dummy variable for other, and that we will call as the base. Okay. So here, see, married is 1. All right. And then we say other is 0 and single is also 0.
So in
Okay,
that,
and everything else is missing. So now this one,
so out of that, which one's our base?
this is a dummy variable that will identify people who are married. So married will be 1, otherwise it will be 0 in that column.
Okay, but which one is your base?
Wait, hold on to that part for just a second. I'll come to that. Okay, so now, so remove this. So this is what I was talking about. You have to remove that. Okay, we'll call this variable married. Married bin. So bin stands for binary. Okay. Now we need one more to fully define the marital status. So we'll define one more variable. Again, we're going to recode marital status. Okay, and you say single is 1, right? And then married is 0, other is 0, okay, and everything else is missing. Now this variable will identify those who are single. Because wherever if a person is single, you will have a 1, otherwise it will have 0. So the first variable would identify all the married folks. The second column will identify those who are single. If both are 0, okay, if the married column is 0 and the single column is also 0, that would indicate the other. So we don't have to now, as a matter of fact, we should not define, because if you do, then it will lead to singularity. You should not define a third dummy variable for other, because with these 2 dummy variables we can automatically identify the third possible value other.
So in this example, other is our base.
That's
Other
right.
is the thing that we don't define.
You got it.
Okay. Thank you.
So once again, here this is important. Make sure, see, if you get an error, it's probably because you forgot to remove this. Okay, so check, make sure that you remove that. So now we have, oh, I should have named it. Okay, we'll name it single. Okay, so these 2 dummy variables would replace the marital status column. Okay, so 3 possible values, so you need 2 dummy variables. Remember, k unique values would mean you will need k minus 1 dummy variables.